Hi guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. Depending on when you'll be watching this video, it's Maverick once again, and welcome to my space. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be learning a whole lot, something very interesting, as you can see on your screen. Just as you can see on your screen. So the exact process, the exact layout, the templates, how exactly I was able to achieve this is what I'm going to be exposing to you in the course of this video. So grab yourself something refreshing, your notepad, your pen, your jotter, your learning items, all right, popcorn, soft drinks. Stay relaxed as we progress, as we commence this video. All right, so I'm going to show us how exactly I was able to achieve this. I would always say something very simple, but the fact that it's simple does not mean it was not creative. It does not mean that effort was not put into making it creative, or else research was done and a whole lot was invested to bringing out this exact design as you can see on your screen. Right, so I'll be showing us in a few minutes. So get yourself in a comfortable position, just get your mind ready to learn, get rid of anything that want to distract you. You'll be learning a whole lot, both theoretically and practically. So we get started immediately. I wouldn't make this video a long one, although it will take quite a time. All right, so because the processes involved is not strenuous, but there are a lot of processes involved. So already I have my resources imported, so I'll just hide them and then we get to unhide them when we need them. So as we can see, this has a lot of write-ups, a lot and a lot of write-ups. So we'll just get to edit them gradually. So stay tuned as we progress. All right, so we get started right away. Sorry, get started right away. So what we need to do is let's first of all, I would say let's start with our texts. All right. We can either start with our text or start with shapes, or start with our background. But basically, I would want to start with, I think, our texts. All right. So just import your text and then edit them. $5K sales funnel. 5K dollar sign first, then 5,000. That's in block letter sales funnel. All right, so this S has dollar sign. Yes, so leave this here, duplicate this, and crash course challenge. Crash course challenge. Alright, so we bring this down here. Extend this a bit. Just leave this there, and then we start with something different. So the next we're going to write, we're still going to edit, import another text, and then we're going to write. I have them copied already, so I'll just paste them. To save our time for us to be typing. Alright, so stand a price to win this. So I think basically let's start by editing this, because we'll be copying this severally. So this, the font we used was MTN Brighter Sans. So just go over, change to MTN Brighter Sans, and then we made it italic. That's the style. So make this black, so not have to repeat them in every other text we're using beneath. We'll just do one and replicate them into others. So let's reduce the size a bit. Yeah, let's leave it at 22. 22 is better, so we'll just centralize it over here, and then next we need to just copy this. So copy this, or move this downwards a bit, and then copy. So duplicate, and then we can edit So I'll just paste what I want to paste. I'll paste what I want to paste. Plus icon. Where's my plus? Alright, so I just leave this somewhere here. I duplicate this again. I edit this, post the next I want, post the next, cuts. Alright, bring this down here. So you can see instead of us editing every text, just edit one and then duplicate it. So that's why I did that. Also to save our time so that the video will not be too long. Edit this, bring this down here, copy also, edit this, bring it over here, copy also, edit this. So you can see the way we are moving with the speed of light. Alright, so I think this is far much better than doing it one. So it's far much better. Alright, so just look for ways to be efficient. Life in general is not hard, right? Although it's hard in its way, but then just look for how to create system that will make life a bit easy for you. Alright, so definitely you need to work hard, but despite the fact you need to work hard, you need to work smart, work in the right direction. Right, it's very important. So we are done editing, we are done with our texts, basically all our texts. So what next is left is just for us to now let's now work on the shapes. Let's work on the shapes. So basically the shapes we're going to use is just rectangle, square that we modify into rectangle and then adjust it to get different forms. So first of all, import a shape, modify this shape to give you a rectangle. Alright, so after that we need to change the color of this rectangle. And let's change it to, I'll give us the color code to change it to. So just go to color, and then the color code is this. Is actually, the color code is, I'm trying to remember. It's a red color. Okay, I think I have it now. D20402. Is it? Okay, yeah, it is. So this is the color we'll be using. Okay, all right, so here we are. So the next thing we need to do, let's rotate this. So go to look for rotate. Here's rotate. So rotate it to an angle of 13. Yeah, so from this flyer now, see how evenly spaced it is. You can see the difference, right? You can see how slanty it is. So it's equally slanty. All right, so let's just move this to the edge. Move this to the edge. Okay, let's just leave this here. So the next thing we need to do, all right, so we are going to go to our inner shadow, the makings of inner shadow here. So just adjust your X inner shadow a bit to this side. Let's adjust it to this side. Adjust it some more, make it 30. All right, so I think this is fine, or make it 40 instead. Right, yeah, 40, and it came out very well. So we need to change the color of this 40. We need something a bit dark. So what we need to do basically is just to reduce the opacity. All right, so let's increase the opacity a bit. We don't want it dark, we want it red, but then want a darker shade of red. Okay, so it's not even this we're going to work on itself. Let's just work on the color itself. That's not what we want. Something dark. Yeah, so the radius we are having here, blur the radius totally to 0. Blur the radius totally to 0. And then let's work on this a bit. Let me see. Okay, this one is a bit lighter, so reduce it a bit. Yeah, fair enough. So this is fair enough. So the next thing I need to do, I need to adjust my color, the color of this stuff, of this guy. So let's make this a bit darker. Let's make this a bit darker. Okay, still move it a bit. Alright, so I think we are going to go with this. We are going to go with this. So just place this, leave this there, the way it is, just leave it there. Then duplicate this image, duplicate it, tap on it, duplicate it. Yeah, so let's rotate it. Let's rotate it. So we want to color this blue. Alright, so this is okay, it's remaining small, it's not yet even. Yeah, it's even now. So place this somewhere here, place this here, and then let's change the color of this. Yeah, we need to change the color of this. So go to color. We are going to change this now to blue. So we're going to change this to blue, and the color code is what I would give us. So let's type the color code. The color code of this blue is 0A 3880 0A3880. So this is the color code. Yeah, so what I would do now is to make this a bit darker. Makes it a bit darker, it's way too light. Alright, so here we are. So we leave this the way it is. So just leave this, that would come later to do other amendments. So basically what next we need to do, click on this rectangle, copy this also. Yes, after copying, let's rotate it. We're going to rotate this one now in a different angle. Now this should be 0. As it's horizontal like this, it should be 0. Alright, okay, negative 90. It can also have, okay, let's just leave it like that, negative 90. So we're going to rotate this one now to tilt towards the left. It's going to tilt towards the left. So we are going to rotate it to be, no, not this way. This is the way we want it. We want it this way, something like this. So much. We want something like this. We want something like this. So we still have to rotate it a bit. We still have to rotate it a bit. Alright, so move this upward a bit. Okay, so this is fine. So what we need to do, we now have to adjust this inner shadow. We have to adjust this inner shadow. So we'll make it come from the top. Make it 25, or rather just make it 30. Let's make it 30. Let's make it 30. 30 is looking too much. Okay, 20, 30 is fine. 30 is fine. So here's what we have. Alright, so the next thing we need to do now is to work on this shape again, where we have our 5k sales funnel and our crash course. It does just a replica of the red and blue. So import another shape, and then let's transform this shape, increase it a bit. increase it a bit, increase this a bit, increase this a bit. Alright, so let's reduce this a bit. So we're going to make this curved. Yeah, the edge is going to be curved. Let's leave it at 10. So set the radius to be 10. Set the radius to be 10. And then let's work on our gradients. I think this is a mixture. We have a gradient there, a gradient fill. So let's select our gradients. So the first layer here, the color code for our gradient is this. Let's take it down. F72E25. F72E25. Yes, that's our first gradient. And then the second layer, the color code here is what we used before, D20, D20 402, 402, D20 402. That's a darker shade basically. So what I need to do is that bring this upwards, bring this downwards a bit. The reason why I extended this one to this way is because we are going to crop that shape, the rectangle. We're going to crop it so that the curved part that is beneath, we don't want it. So we're going to remove that curved part beneath by cropping it. So if we make this even, the dark parts here might also be cut out when we're cropping it. So that's why I had to extend it towards this angle. Alright, so here's what we have. So now let's go on to crop this guy. You can see we don't want these curved parts here to show. So extend it and then just crop it out. So here's what we've got. So let's still crop it out. We don't want something much. Just half of it is enough. So half of this is enough. Alright, so let's now position this to the center, relative position. Awesome. So here we are. So basically what we do here now is just to duplicate this shape, copy it so we don't have to create again, copy it, then rotate it the other way around, and then what we need to do is just basically to change the color. Alright, so go to your color, enable this, instead of going to color code, you can see the color we used here, just pick it, this color we use. So just select that, the same color we'll be using. Alright, so here is what we have. So centralize this, relative position, centralize this. Alright, so from my image, you see that the one on top is bigger than the one beneath, so we have to crop this. We still have to crop this a bit to make it smaller. Alright, so this is fair enough. Let's still centralize this. This is fine. So we leave it the way it is now. So what next do we need to do? Simple. You would observe that the red rectangle is casting a shadow on the blue rectangle. Alright, it's casting a shadow on the blue rectangle. So we'll add shadow to this red rectangle over here. Go to shadow, enable the shadow, and then we might leave the blur, but then we don't want the shadow to be all around it. That's why we will not leave the blur. Sorry, we're not going to leave the blur. We're going to make the blur totally zero. So we'll just adjust this one now. So we move the offset Y downwards a bit, and then reduce the offset X, right, making it cast another shadow to the left. So we want to cast shadow to the left, we also want to cast shadow beneath. Alright, so that's the reason why we are doing this. Let's make this 10. So offset X is -5, offset Y is what? +10. So let's reduce the opacity of this black color. Alright, let's reduce the opacity a bit more. This is fair. Alright, so I think we need to blur the radius now to make it, yes. So set your blur radius to 7. Okay, so here's what we've got. So you can see that now you are not really seeing the blur. or the shadow on the blue background. That is because this blue background is in the front. So let's tap on this red rectangle and bring to the front. So now can we see it? Yeah, it's quite visible, but then I want it to still come down a bit. Or let me move this upward. All right, this is fair. So I think we need to reduce the transparency of this shadow still. We need to reduce the transparency, so let's reduce it a bit and then blur it more. Set our blur to 10. All right, so I think we still need to adjust it a bit. So let's set our offset X as -10, offset Y as 15. Yeah, this is much better. So I prefer it this way. This is much better to me. All right, so the next thing we need to do, we are making progress. All we need to do now is to now work on our texts, basically to work on our texts. So all these that we did, you have to bring them forward. This 5K sales funnel. Now instead of going through the stress, just over here, click on this, and then you see different options. So should you want to edit anything from your layers without highlighting the elements you want to edit, and then going over to coming over here to work on what you want to do. So you can just click here, and then some functions would come up. You have your color, you want to change color. You have your size, you want to change the size. You have your rotate, you want to rotate it. You have your copy, you want to duplicate it. You have your edit, you want to edit it. You have your relative position, you want to centralize it. You have your bring to forward and bring back and take backward also. So we want to bring this one now to the front of the shape. Remember, it's behind the shape. So just click here. Right, so this one is to bring it forward, so to take it backward. Color, relative position, rotate, edit. This one is size, copy, duplicate, and this guy is to edit. All right, so just click here and you can see it has been brought forward. So we want to do the same thing for this guy, crash course challenge. Click here and bring to the front. All right, so you can now edit what we want to edit here. So what we are going to do here, for this our 5K sales funnel, we are going to change the fonts and the size. All right, so the font for our 5K, we are going to decide, we're going to make it a bit large. Okay, let's just say 52 is okay. All right, so you can see it went out of the shape we're using, but then it's going to contain, because we're going to change the font, and the font we're going to use is going to be a long font, which is Go Bold. We're going to use Go Bold. So there's a font I'm looking for in Go Bold, which we're going to make use of. It's not Low Plus. Yeah, something extra. So it's this is what we're going to make use of. Go Bold Extra 2. All right, exactly. So this is what we're going to make use of. What we need to do now is to centralize this, and then we're going to change this color. If you observe carefully from this flyer, you will see that it is not a plain color that was used. I applied gradients to that, so I'm going to make use of a gradient color here. So go to your color, click on gradients, and now let's look for a good gradient to use. Although the gradient I used was a combination of white and the others. So click on it, click on this, make this white. I'm going to create one more layer. Click on this. I'll make this a bit, let me D5. All right, so I'll leave it here, and I'll make this a bit lighter. Let me just ask F5 or F4. But I think this is fine. Yeah, so this is what I want. So I'm going to adjust this now to give it that sharp contrast in the middle. Alright, so you can see it now. To create that sharp contrast in the middle, I want this one to be a bit darker. Let's be a bit darker. I want the contrast to be visible. Yeah, I think we are good to go. So let's put this. Let's reduce this a bit. Adjust it rather. Yeah, so I love this. So the next thing we need to do, let's apply some shadow to it to make it pop. Let's apply some shadow to it. So let's reduce the opacity to around 50, and then bring this sideways a bit. Let's say 2. Bring white downwards a bit. Let's say 3. All right, and then let's see our blur. Set our blur to 3. Let me increase this size also to see something. No, it's not giving me what I want. I think I need to reduce this also. 1, 2. Okay, 2 is fair. 2 is fair. Reduce this. 2, 1. 2, 1. Yeah. So set your opacity. Let your opacity be 100. Let your blur rate just be 2. Your offset x -2 and your offset y should be 1. So I think I love this. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So let me still centralize this and then move this a bit upward. It's upward a bit. All right, so here we are. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to change the font of this crash course, and what we used here was basically what's the name now? MTN Sans. Yeah, that's what we use. So we're going to reduce the size of this. All right, so let's make it let's reduce the size. This is fair. So centralize this and make this the same gradient we used for our 5K sales funnel, so which is this. All right, so you can see awesome. So we might not, there's no need for, I don't think there's a need for us to add shadow here, since already it's popping the way it is. It's popping. So I feel we should reduce the sharpness of this blue color. It's looking too sharp. Let me just reduce it a bit. So this is better. I think I will need to do the same to this also, this guy. Yeah, so this is better. All right, so the next thing we need to do, as you can see, we are almost done with this design. Basically, we're almost done with this design. So stand the chance to win. This will need to come down. It will come down to somewhere here, and we'll have to position this relatively. All right, so we position this relatively, and then what we need to do next is to we need to create a line. All right, we need to create a line, but I'm just used to doing the same thing in different ways. So what I will do now, I wouldn't use the Bezier tool, but I will use shape. I would use shape to create the line. All right, and the way I'm going to create it is not the way I used to do before. So I'll create this a different way. And what way is that? No, basically after you've what I do is that I don't reduce the opacity. I leave the opacity like that and then reduce this to the barest minimum. But now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to reduce the opacity totally, and then set the stroke width to 1. I don't want it to be, okay, let it be 2. Let it not be too thick. So I'm going to increase the size a bit. Alright, and then I reduce the length. Let me still increase this because I'm going to crop it. Yeah, I'll crop it to achieve the two lines at the same time. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it the way it is now. So as you can see, this is the way it is. So what I'm going to do is just basically to crop this one now, to remove the two edges, the one at the left and one at the right. So do this, and here we are. Alright, so I think this is far easy and better. Alright, it's just for basically I just whenever I want to do something, I just think of the most efficient and stress-free way of doing things most times. Other times I prefer to go the strenuous way. So I think this will be faster than creating a line through the use of Bezier tool. So that was why I made use of this. So let me click on this and change the color. I'm gonna change the color to blue. That's the stroke that was added. Where's stroke? Okay, just go to your edits and then change the color to blue here. So we still have to crop this again. We go over it again, reduce it, reduce this guy. Here we go. Go to your size, reduce this guy to 60. Here we go. Centralize it, and voila. Here's what we have. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is, I feel like I need to increase the, okay, let me just leave it this way and then set it upwards a bit. Alright, so centralize this. So here's what we have. So the next thing we need to do, we're making progress now, is we already have our texts imported. So this one won't be strenuous for us. Basically, what we need to do is now to create the, let me to the front so you can see it. We need to create these lines that we see here. Alright, so you can see that from the right, they are very, very clear, and as they move to the left, they fade away. So I'm going to show us how I achieved this. So basically what I did was still the same thing. I made use of a shape. Alright, so we have to make use of shape in this one. We did the opacity totally. This opacity, add stroke to it. Here's your stroke. So make your stroke like 1 or 2. Just make it okay, leave that 2. So what you would do basically here, just adjust it to make it a bit smaller. Although you can always adjust it. But then what I did here was that instead of setting the color to be just one color, although here I used red was used, but then I made use of a gradient color. Alright, so let's edit this gradient here. This guy. Let's edit this gradient. So what we need to do is use this first effect. The first effect, not the second effect, the first effect. So what I did basically was to, this guy over here, I made this color very transparent. So like nothing would be shown here, nothing will be seen here, while here we can see it as it's moving. So click OK. So you can see the effect already, it has been created. So you can see the effect has been created. So that was how I was able to achieve that. Alright, so just reduce this a bit and then set it here. So all we need to do now is just to duplicate the guy. Duplicate that guy. Let me move this away. Yeah, some will need to be bigger than the other. So just keep on duplicating this guy. So place the next one underneath. Place the next one underneath. Place the next one underneath. Alright. And then please, okay, let's duplicate this guy once more. But this guy will need to increase the size, the height, because what we would have to put here is quite large. Alright. So here is what we have. Here's what we have. So I'm going to set it in such a way that let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. So we are going to set our grid. Let's set our grid to this angle. So we don't want any of them to cross this angle. Yeah, we don't want any of them to cross this border we set here. So we align all of them to make sure they don't exceed that border. So move this upward a bit, and then move to the side. All right, so send this backward so it can go beyond the back to the back of this stuff here. So this one also, move it upwards, sideways a bit, move it upwards. Okay, there we go. The next guy, move it. All right, so move it upwards. Just use your eye to make sure that the spaces in between them are even. All right, so over time my eyes is used to it, so I might need to stress myself much. I would know when it is and when it's not. Okay, so move this upward a bit. Yeah, that's it. Okay, it needs to go up a bit. Okay, that's it. And this guy also, let's position it properly. So move this guy upwards. Yeah, so send this to the back, send them to the back, so they go to the back of the rectangle, slanted rectangle by the side. All right, so here's what we have. So let's see what we're working with to know if we are on course, and definitely we are on course. All right, so the next thing we need to do is now to fix them into their respective places. Let's bring it to the front. All right, so we set this. Let's set this here. Move it upwards a bit. Although some person said that it would look better if I made it straight instead of slanty, but I prefer it this way. I just prefer it this way. Sometimes you need to think out of the box. All right, although it's not something very so I just prefer it this way. I don't want it to be straight, although it looks a bit weird, but still I prefer it this way. Forget what they say, I prefer it this way. So I will bring this down here, and then I position this also. So we might still need to adjust them, move them towards the right, but then let's just fix them first. We'll come back to that later. Alright, so this guy, bring him over here to the front. So definitely it won't be able to contain. So what we need to do here now is to increase the size of this guy a bit. Yeah, increase the size of this guy, and then we reduce this guy also, duplicate the layer. So bring this down here. I'm going to reduce this line spacing of this guy. Reduce the line spacing. It has to fit in. It has to. Alright, so I think this is fine, but then it does not fit in. You just have to increase the height of this guy a bit more, and then fix him again. Let's see. Okay, yes, it's fair now. Alright, so we'll work on it. Just leave it as it is. Work on it, and then the next guy. My eyes is telling me to increase this guy. Let me leave it the way it is first of all. So the next guy, which is this, let's increase this a bit, and then bring it downwards. Oh, these shapes are not even. They are not. My eye is picking the signals. Still not even. Sorry. Let me just adjust this. Okay, it's on course now. Remove this guy. Remove this guy. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Alright, so the next we need to do is this guy over here. Bring it here also. So let's reduce the line spacing of this guy. Reduce the line spacing of this guy. Alright, so let's leave that -7. Let it not look too compacted. And we might need to reduce the size of this guy since it's too large. Reduce his size to basically we need to reduce the size of everything. So let's leave this at -20. If at 20 rather, if this is 20, definitely others would be less than 20. This guy we need to, okay, let's reduce this guy. Okay, let's just leave them as 20 everything. Reduce this guy. Reduce this guy. Yeah, I think this is better now. This is better. So move them. Alright, so let me bring it downwards a bit. Yeah, awesome. So same thing for this guy. Same thing for this guy. Bring it downwards a bit. Upwards. Yep. So same thing for this guy. Same thing for this guy. Same thing for this guy. Okay, let me move this still a bit. Okay, so same thing for this guy also. Move this guy. Alright, so bring it downwards a bit. Yeah, downwards. So it's fair where it is. Move it sideways still. Yeah. So it's remaining this guy. This guy that wants to stress us. Reduce this guy. Reduce it. Alright, so position this. Oops. Let's set this. Alright, move it upwards a bit. Yeah. I think we've achieved what we need to achieve. We've achieved what we need to achieve. So basically, I just think we'll have to move these guys a bit. Move this guy a bit. Alright, and then we'll mark everything here. Everything here, we'll mark them and move them to the right. So just click on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. No. They ought to be 5. Okay, 6. So here are the shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just adjust them. Move them to the right. Okay, so yeah, it's okay, and yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, so I think I love it this way now. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So the next thing we need to do, let's work on this challenge guy down here. Let's bring the fonts to the front. Alright, so let's alright, once it's on a straight line, let's reduce the size. 20 is fine, and then let's rotate it also. We need to rotate this guy. Rotate this guy to an angle of 4. Yes. Yeah, I love what I see. So let's centralize this guy, and then we're going to make the color white. So select a white color, and then let's move it upwards a bit. Move it upwards a bit. Okay, so this is fair. This is fair, and it's visible. Yeah, you can see it. I know you can. So all we need to do, just add shadow to this guy. Add shadow, enable it, reduce opacity to 50, reduce this guy, reduce, yeah, all right. So I think it's okay this way. It's okay this way. No, it's okay this way. So the next thing we need to do, we're almost done with this design. It's very simple. We're almost done with the design. So the next thing next is now to import this our guy over here, that's stars. So let's unhide this picture. Yeah, this is this picture. Let's move him sideways, move him this way. All right, so I think his picture is good to go here. Yeah, his picture is good to go here. It's okay here. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine where it is. It's fine where it is. Let's bring it downwards a bit. So what I did here basically was that I duplicated this image, copy, and then I added color. I colored it. I made it white. Colored it white. So basically you can't see it, or basically I'll just color it black. Now you can see it. I would position this in such a way that, okay, let me send to the back. First of all, send this to the back, and then I would adjust it to make sure it's coming out of the original image just a bit. All right, so what I did was I went to color, and then I reduced the opacity. Okay, that's not even working. Okay, let's hide this. So let's give this guy a stroke. All right, so let's make the stroke black. All right, so increase it by one more. That's 3. So the next thing we do, let's reduce the opacity of this black guy here. Exactly. So this was it. This is it. Reduce the opacity of this guy. Reduce it more. Reduce it. Okay. So just leave it the way it is. 3 is fine. 3 is fine, right? So I can see something by the side. Okay, so we just have to erase it. Go to eraser. There's something I can see by this side. Undo. So over here I can see something over here. So let's just erase that so it does not disturb our design. Come over here. So come over here. This is it. So just locate this guy and clean it up. Be careful so you don't clean up your image. Aha, it's gone. All right, so I'm making progress. The next thing we need to do, basically, let's bring in our logo, LAP, Lenoflix Affiliate Platform. All right, so this is a course he did for affiliate on Lenoflix, where he created a course and then he uploaded on Lenoflix platform, so persons can affiliate for his course, persons who are on Lenoflix platform, and then they get commission. And if you hit certain targets, these are the rewards you get. So basically I did a design for all of this reward. I would not be showing us because it's basically the same process, just that over here this lance rectangle here was duplicated to this part, and then beneath here it was like a triangle that was slanted. So I'll just show us the picture, but then it's something you can create, and I'll leave you to create that. All right, so let me set this. Let me bring this somewhere here. Increase the size. Okay, 8 is fine. Position this somewhere here. All right, so just leave it where it is, leave it where it is. So the next thing we need to do, we need to bring in our PS5, unhide our PS5. We need it now. Alright, it was just, all this is just creativity. I just look for what to use to spice up my design. Alright, so I downloaded this and I got to use this. So send this to the back. Alright, so what I did was I played with my color texture, my color filter rather. It's looking too pale, so I had to work on the color to make it sharp. Alright, so I think this is better than the way it's wear. Alright, you saw the way it's wear, so it is better. So I leave this the way it is. Let me move it upwards a bit. Yeah, move it downwards a bit. Yeah, sideways a bit. Yeah, so this is it. So the next thing I did here was my phone. The phone, where's the phone? We made use of a phone. Okay, here it is. Let's unhide our phone. So I also just put this to spice up the design. So what I did here was to crop out this phone. I think this is the price, this is the first price for the first target. Alright, a target of 7, make 7 sales and you win this. Alright, so basically I positioned this here. Let me see, rotate the bit. I positioned this here. I reduce the size. Alright, reduce the size a bit. So just position this here. I think I still need to reduce the size of this guy. Position this here. Position this here. Let me see, move it sideways. Okay, I think I need to move this upwards a bit. Yeah, it needs to come up. So we'll adjust other things. Just let's see. So what I did was I also played with my color filter. Alright, I wanted to make it a bit sharp. Let me see, saturation. Okay, brightness. I do not touch brightness. Brightness has nothing to do with this. Contrast has nothing to do with this. So I just set it 6553. Do it randomly, alright? It's not a big deal. Alright, so I place this here. Let me still rotate this guy a bit. Rotate him to 70. Alright, so that's fine. So the next thing I did here was I duplicated this guy. Copy, brought it down here, positioned it somewhere here. Although I need to send it behind this guy. So over here it is. So I made such a way that it's like it's deflating. Right, in such a way that it's deflating. So I just reduce the opacity of this. Reduce the opacity of this guy. So you can see it, right? In such a way that it's deflating. Alright, reduce the opacity of this guy. And then let me bring it downwards a bit. So exactly. Alright, so we are good to go. So we need to move these guys. We need to move them. Let's move these guys upwards. Let's move it upwards. So mark them 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the fifth guy? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's move these guys upward. You get why? Let's move these guys upward. Yes. So I think this is okay. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is let's bring this guy forward. And then our text also, where is it? Challenge begins here. We bring her forward. Alright, so this was how we were able to achieve that on that angle. So we are basically coming to the end of this design. Alright, we have 6 minutes more. or rather 5 minutes more. Alright, so the next thing we need to do basically, is to import our background, our main background, which is this guy. So we have no issues with this because already that's a white background, and general background also is white. So all we need to do is just to expand this guy. Let me bring it to the front. No, not this guy. Where's the guy? This is the guy. Bring this guy forward. Expand this. Alright, so just put it somewhere here. Yeah, it's not relevant to other places. Just put it somewhere here. Alright, so now send this to the back. Send this backwards, and then reduce the opacity. Let's say leave it at 30. So 30 is fair. Alright, so you can see, you can literally see what is there, and also it's well contrasting with the texts and the elements used. So just leave that guy there. And then the next thing you need to do was, if you look closely, you see that our shapes by the side, alright, they have this rough texture. So we are going to import, unhide the texture we use. I think I need to make this guy darker. Alright, I need to make this guy darker. Let's make this guy a bit darker. Yeah, that's fine. So the stuff we used here, sorry, let me do something. Let me work on my color. I need this dark blue. Exactly. Yes, this is what I need. So let me change this color also. It's too dark. I'll just leave it where it is. So basically, let's unhide the elements we used, which is this guy here. This kind of transparent guy, but it's not transparent. Alright, so let me bring it to the front. This is it here. So what I did was that I just adjusted this guy, and then I made it slanty also. Is it? Yeah, perfect. I deserve ice cream. Alright, so just position this properly. Position this guy properly, so you can see now. You can see the rough edge is now being displayed. So what we need to do, let's just reduce the opacity a little. Position it to this side. Reduce the opacity a little. Let's leave it at 60. Yeah, awesome. So duplicate the guy, copy him, and then still rotate this guy. We are going to put the same thing underneath here. Alright, for this, okay, it's not even yet. Yeah, it is now. So just extend this and place it somewhere here. So let's reduce the position, move it downwards a bit. Alright, so here is what we have. So all we need to do just to bring our challenge forward, so it does not interrupt it. Bring it forward. Alright, and also we need to bring this guy's sales funnel forward, so it does not interrupt it. Bring our shape forward, then go bring our 5K back forward. Alright, so I guess you know the reason why I did all of this, right? So that's basically how our design was created. So I think what we're left with here, we've basically done everything we need to do. The only thing we're left to do is just our money that's floating. So unhide our money icon. Here's our money icon. So unhide this guy, bring her, where's the money icon? Here, bring her to the front. So this is what we need, one, and the other one is what this guy floating here. Alright, so just duplicate this, copy this, and then let's crop the first one. Crop the guy. There's only a part we need, we don't need all the parts, so let's leave this as it's here. And then for this guy, let's also crop these parts. We'll have to clean them definitely. Alright, so let's go straight to clean, erase the part we don't need. This is eraser. So over here we don't need this guy. We don't need its parts now this time around. So erase all that neighboring distraction. Erase other neighboring distraction. We just need this guy. Alright, so let's reduce this, leave here first, and let's do the same thing for this guy. We erase every neighboring distraction. We don't need them in this design. Probably in other design we might make use of them, but for this we don't. So sorry, bro. Alright, so just erase them carefully so you don't erase your money along. Alright, so this is fair. So what we need to do now is I'm going to play with this my color filter. Interesting. So I'll just leave it at 46. Let me make it 50 or no 45 and 100. So reduce this guy, yes, this guy, and then place over here. We still have distracting neighbors here. Let's treat these guys distracting. This is better. So we position this properly, just by the side of this dollar sign. Reduce it a bit, bring it closer. Alright, so here's what we have. So what you just need to do, just bring this 5k sales forward. Alright, that is fine. And then for this guy, let's edit this color filter. I think this is 45, right? Yeah, this was 45. And then this 100. So reduce the size of this guy. And place somewhere here. Let's place it somewhere here. Although this one will need to come to the front. Let's bring it one forward and then take it sideways so that L can show a bit. Alright, so this is fair enough. So let's adjust this Alright, move it upwards a bit. So this was how we were able to achieve this design. Very simple, very straightforward, and very lovely. So all we need to do now is just our D. So let's edit this THE. Alright, so the font used here, I really can't remember, but I think I'll remember. Let me just check if it's Katrine. No, it's not. Okay, I think I would search it out. Let's see. We have a whole lot of cursive fonts, but then the exact one that was used for that exact design. No, not this. The name is flashing in my head, but I'm not picking it. Even when I say that we know, it's flashing in my head, but I'm not picking it. It's not this guy. Let me just see. It's not this guy. Yeah, Monique. So just color this to be black. Color this as black, and then centralize your guy. So here is increase the size. Leave it at 4. Let's make it 45, or even 50 would do. This will do just fine. Centralize the guy again. Alright, so there we go. The $5K sales funnel crash course. So this was exactly how I was able to produce this design. So go and implement, go and practice. Okay, I think we are missing one more thing, that is the name of our hosts. So just duplicate this guy and then write Taz Igor. Should be the same font. Taz Igor. Alright, so bring it here. We're going to change this color to white because of contrast. Alright, so reduce the size. Alright, reduce the size a bit. Yeah, and then rotate it. Fine. So just bring this downwards here. And we are good to go. Alright, so we'll meet again in the next video. Stay jiggy, stay creative. Do your practice and let us see what you have to get. Alright, what you would get. Alright, so you can add your own touch of creativity. Do something unique, and let's see the end results. So I'll be expecting your responses. Stay jiggy.